don't know. I'm in a long-term relationship. It's going well. We're still learning things about each other, right? Like, we went on a 5-hour car trip the other day. We get to the accommodation. We haven't been inside yet. We're both busting for a piss. I said, what if we get inside and there's only one toilet? And she goes, well, I'll sit down and let you go through the gap, right? Yeah. So I learned she's way more disgusting than I realized. And she learned that I have terrible aim. We watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Has anyone seen RuPaul's Drag Race? Yeah, it's great. It's the best. If you don't know it, you should watch it, right? It's a bunch of drag queens competing in various contests, right? And we're watching it one night. I think she was feeling insecure because she points at one of the drag queens. She goes, that man is a way better looking woman than me. And I was like, I'm not saying shit right now. Like, this is a trap, right? She goes, really? You're not going to say anything? Why don't you just date that guy? I had to be like, come on. What are you talking about? That guy is way out of my league. I actually got told by a good friend of mine, a female comedian, she goes, don't do jokes about women at all. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, you're a man, it's not your lived experience, you can't do jokes about something that you're not. And I said, well, that doesn't check out, because you do jokes about Italians. She goes, yeah, but my mom is Italian, I'm half Italian, I can do the jokes. And I said, well, my mom is a woman. I'm half woman. I can do the jokes. She goes, what are you talking about? You're being totally irrational. I said, yeah, that's my half woman side.
You know, it was cool though, because we had like no real internet or no TV or anything like that, you know, so like I used to ride my bike in the bush. That was my whole childhood really. It was just in the bush, no technology, real free range childhood, right? Which sounds great, but it does have one or two drawbacks, right? Like, for example, the first time I really became conscious of sex was by hearing my parents do it accidentally. Yeah, true story, honestly. I was woken up about 11 at night by these terrifying sounds, right? I thought, oh, we must be getting broken into, you know? Slowly it dawned on my young mind, oh, crumbs. That's mum and dad boning, you know? And guys, have you ever lay in bed, heard some terrifying sounds at night and thought, I fucking wish that was a burglar? You know what I mean? It's like my childhood just went from Winnie the Pooh to Winnie Sniffs glue, just instantly, you know? Because when you're young, you see your parents as like these providers, you know, they're perfect beings, they can do no wrong, right? And then one night, you are very rudely awakened, you know? By the sound of them doing something you saw zebras doing on the Discovery Channel, you know, and it's, yeah, I'd imagine David Attenborough narrating the scene. He'd be like, the young adolescent lay in his bed, paralyzed by disgust, for his parents had forgotten to close the door. This moment will leave scars that will last long into his 30s. And ensure he becomes a stand-up comedian. You know? I don't want to do that to my child though, you know. That's why I make sure I close the door. But I do want to take that trauma out on someone, so I leave the window open, because fuck the neighbor's children, you know what I'm saying?
I love a little town. I saw something amazing in a little country town, called Colac, regional Victoria. Now, I love little towns. Here's the thing I love about little towns, is when people are aggressive in little towns, they all know one another, so they can't be too aggressive, because they have to still see one another, right? And it's going to come up later in this story. So here's what I saw. I saw a van driving down the road in a little country town, regional Victoria. So a van with the words Free Quran on the side and had the Palestinian flag on the back. Now, I don't know how you feel about either of those things. You do have to admit, bold to do it in regional Australia. There's not a lot of demand for the Quran in Colac. You know what I mean? It's a little town. They don't have the Quran. They're still getting their head around lasagna. They don't know what. The only Quran in a country town is Karen, who runs the local IGA. That's what I'm... It's brave. It's brave to do it in a country town. Anyone can hand out the Quran in a big city. It's brave to go to a country town. Because they're country people, right? And so I saw these guys, they're handing out the Quran, and then I saw a bikie drive up and start screaming at them, and I stopped to watch because I wanted to tell you guys. And here's where the aggression thing comes in, where I was saying even when they're aggressive, they still have to be friendly. because this guy's screaming at these guys, handing out the Quran. He sees me watching him, and he goes, "Oh, you're all right there, mate? You're just bloody watching? Just having a good time bloody watching?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm just observing." And he goes, "Ah, fair enough, mate. Go on, keep going." And then just went back. And then I heard this sentence. I heard a bikie yelling at some brown men handing out the Quran, and they had the Palestinian flag on their car. And he goes, "It's Australian, mate. You shouldn't have that bloody flag on your car, mate. It's un-Australian. You're in Australia. You shouldn't have that bloody flag on your car, mate. You should have an Australian flag or an Aboriginal flag." And I was like, who is this progressive bigot? That's crazy. He's like, "You should be acknowledging the traditional owners, past, present, and emerging. You don't." So culturally sensitive. We had a smoking ceremony afterwards. No, smoking meth. But the point is that
I want to say comedy is my only source of income at the moment, so I was delighted that they offered me this gig tonight because my rent is due on Monday, and it's going to be so nice for once to pay in cash and not blowjobs. But look, it's my own fault for living with my dad. Feel like I should premise that is a joke, okay? I do not blow my dad for rent. I do it for fun.
I just like to know what the first thing couples notice about each other is. I think it's important, right? Because I'll never forget, first thing I noticed about my girlfriend was her fucking shoulders, yeah? No, truly, she's jacked. She's one of those CrossFit girls. We got any CrossFit girls in tonight? No, all in bed. They're exhausted, poor things. 5:30, they're absolutely knackered. And they need their rest. They've got to be up at 5 a.m. to sprint up hills and emasculate their boyfriends. So, no, she doesn't emasculate me in the fact that she's really muscly. She emasculates me in other ways, though, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm a comedian, I go to bed pretty late, she gets up nice and early. And there's no more pathetic feeling for a man than his girl kissing him on the head, wishing him a good day as she sleeps in, is there, guys? We know this feeling? I think you ladies know it too. They make a little show of it, don't you? You know, you could slip out, but you're like, I'm going to let him know. I'm off to work, my little cuckaloo. You remember work, don't you? We're like, why? Yeah. Oh, thank you, baby. Have a good day. Yeah. Sometimes you dig the knife in further. You're like, and don't forget to hang out the washing, you lose. You're like, I won't forget, baby. I won't forget. Happens every time. But I like the fact that she's very muscular. I love that fact, you know what I mean? She's got these very strong and powerful legs, and that's great, because it makes going down on her just that much more interesting. It's risky, right? Yeah, because if she would have clamped together those muscular thighs in the heat of passion when I'm down there, I'm fucking dead, people. I'm gone, yeah? It'd come down on me like a guillotine. She'd pop my head like a pimple with those legs. You should see me do it. I look like a rat trying to carefully get a bit of cheese out of the trap. Not that there's any cheese in there. I don't know.